Hi, my name is Cara Crowley. I'm the Associate Director of Special Events at Vogue magazine, focusing on the business side. I went to St. Joseph's University, right outside of Philadelphia, actually in Philadelphia, and I studied marketing. None of my internships were really involved in fashion, funny enough. I had a variety of marketing internships at small digital companies. I sold cars one summer. When I moved to New York, I didn't get right into magazines. I actually worked at Bergdorf Goodman as a personal shopper, which kind of fulfilled my fashion dreams, which was great. But then finally came into Conde Nast and thought I was going to go into sales. I started at a magazine called House and Garden, which unfortunately is no longer. It folded back in 2007. Started at House and Garden folded. Then I went to Gourmet magazine, which then also folded. Then went to Bon Appetit magazine, and then I left and went to Gilt Group for 2 years. Well, it's Vogue. Yeah. I think it's kind of, every girl's dream job. I knew I'd always come back to Conde Nast. I mean, I started here. I kind of grew up here in a sense. I learned everything I could possibly learn here. It's just such a great company to really teach you how to do things right, how to do things well. They have the best of the best. So when Vogue came calling, I kind of ran. I was always involved in a lot. My roommates in college always used to call me like random job because I would pick up like random jobs. Like I had a friend who had a little boutique on the main line and I went and like helped her style mannequins and did that kind of on the side. I waitressed, I was a hostess, just kind of, I was always out and about meeting people, networking, which, helps you so much throughout your career in ways you cannot even imagine, just meeting as many people as possible and staying in touch. So I really love that every day, every week, I'm doing something completely different. You work your typical 9 to 6, and then we always have an event in the evening, so it's definitely long days, but I think it's very fulfilling. Pretty much every single one of my events, we are always tweeting, Instagramming, so I think that's really, really important just to get the message out there. I think it's just great for updates, so it kind of keeps you ahead of the curve. It's funny enough, when I was interviewing at Vogue magazine, I can literally remember walking into the office. I was waiting in the lobby and I was just checking my Twitter feed and I followed Vogue magazine and I had found out our publisher won Publisher of the Year. So I walked in there and it was just announced and so I was like, oh, I heard the publisher just won, and the person I was interviewing with didn't even realize that, she hadn't even heard it yet. So it's so timely. I love bloggers. I definitely think bloggers are, like the new editors. You see with some of the bigger bloggers, Brian Boy and Man Repeller. I mean, people are really starting to listen and to realize that this is the next big thing. The big thing is getting in there and making something from the interview. You have to pop out. You have to, make us remember you. I'm a big, believer in follow-up, not just a handwritten note, which I always do, an email right after, a handwritten note in the mail. I think that goes a long way. Probably comes from my mother and etiquette, but anyway, I think that goes a long way. But there was a job that I had really wanted a couple years ago. It was for Gourmet magazine, and they told me, the HR person at Conde Nast told me I was not qualified. I said, get me in there, I can prove myself. So I got the interview. I was on round 3 and I met with the associate publisher at the time, and she was reading through an issue and she said, when I first started here I saw this cake and I wanted to make it for my daughter's birthday, but I looked at it and it had ice cream cones on. There's no way I could make this cake. And it was just something we had said in an interview, just in passing. So I went home that night and baked this cake. It was up till 5 in the morning. I mean, custard icing from scratch, these cones on the side, went to Williams-Sonoma as soon as it opened, 10 a.m., bought the cake carrier and delivered it. I hadn't even slept, delivered it. I got the job. I love a white button-up shirt, roll the sleeves. I just think that's a classic look. A little black dress. I'm a huge fan of Diane von Furstenberg dresses, which I'm wearing today, or a wrap dress, doesn't have to be this fancy, but I think these are great because they look businessy and professional, but also still a little fun and sexy. I'm from Philadelphia, so Grace Kelly. I just love her, classic. But I love, I have to say, like, Kate Moss. I mean, she just does such a good job of, like, the rock star, like, fashion, but still keeping it girly. I have to say, too, Blake Lively has done a really good job, too. I mean, I think she's just stunningly beautiful. My favorite line is what Conan said, if you work really, really hard and are kind, amazing things will happen, and I think that's completely true.